Let's talk about this. It's a difficult case. It's a triggering case. It could be a cautionary tale. Maybe some mom out there is recognizing herself in Jennifer Soto. Maybe it gives her the courage to do something different. Maybe some victim out there is like 13-year-old Madeline Soto, who lost her life to her mother's boyfriend. He sits accused of doing some horrible things to her. That person could be watching, and it'll give them the courage to also make an outcry or search for help, call a hotline or something. The case of Stephan Sterns, you might say, we got a total of about 800 or more case images. Now, you're not going to see all of them. People have been wanting to see them. I don't know if I'll put them on Patreon or not, but I want to put them here. So what I want to do is just fade the images in and out with myself talking to you about all the additional shocking things I've learned from this case in the latest data dump. We just got a whole bunch of PDFs, whole bunch of images. In fact, there were 760 images and PDFs in one case file link that I got directly from the Orange County Sheriff's Office in Florida, and that link is kind of wacky. I ended up having to individually download about 800 photos, evidence photos. There are images in there, there's videos in there. We're breaking it all down. I'm doing it piecemeal. So you will see 795 photos, but let me be clear, what you won't see, you will not see any naked photos, thankfully, of Stephan Sterns. I saw a few, I immediately deleted them. I'm like, what kind of journalist am I? I was just like, I don't want to see those. I couldn't get back on to download them. As a journalist, I should have looked more and inspected them, but I just was like, so ick. He's so ick. He's so disturbing. So you will not see any of those. Some of them I further redacted. For example, there was some drawing of a woman on her knees, or a girl, whomever it was, performing fellatio on a man. And that kind of stuff I just put in the do not publish folder. And also, let me tell you, you won't see any autopsy photos. You're not going to see any photos of anyone's remains. You know, you're not going to see any disturbing stuff. Thankfully, they didn't accidentally give us any autopsy photos like previous cases. We know Gannon's case, that happened. And I've even further redacted some of these images because I had to take my time and go through all of them even more. And even images of like Maddie's underwear, I just went ahead and further redacted them. I know people want to see the scene, they want to see the case, they want to know what happened, but I just felt whatever's inappropriate, I redacted it. I don't know if I want to put them on Patreon or not. That's what I've been wrestling with. You know, even the ones that aren't deleted, I got rid of Stephan Sterns's. You can see his junk. I mean, thank God the cops took photos of Stephan's junk because, of course, that's evidence. They needed to see the pink discoloration on his, member, and jury members are going to need to see that if he doesn't, confess and plead guilty any day now. Who knows what's going on? I don't know why we're getting all this stuff. I don't know what's happening. I didn't take time to see the freckle and all that stuff, and part of me is like, maybe I should have examined it more just so I can tell you guys more. One thing the YouTuber The Docket mentioned, because he's seen them, True Crime Sushi Amy, I believe she saw them, but The Docket noticed something weird was happening with Stephan, almost like he had two members, like one bigger, one smaller. I think I've heard of that before. I'm sure scientists, doctors have seen everything. But as soon as I just saw thumbnails, I deleted it. So you won't see that here. If you want to watch these photos, nearly 800 of them, you'll see them here as I fade myself in and out. You're probably watching on your phone. Most people do that. So, you can always take a screenshot if you just want to see certain photos or want copies of them and, enlarge or zoom in and figure stuff out. As we view the photos, I want to talk about different things that were shocking to me, such as Maddie or Jennifer's journal confession. It's either Maddie's or Jen's journal. I'm not sure. I've heard both in these evidence photos. They don't give us necessarily a lot of description. Maybe the cops didn't know themselves. Let's talk about why Stephan may have been freaking out Saturday night, the Saturday before Maddie's Sunday birthday party. Maybe I'll just touch on it now. Wasn't that crazy? Jennifer saying in that body cam video I just put up, Sunday was the last night we had her.
Like the last outfit she was wearing.
Has it been like with all the clothes and all that, like your clothes?
It got mixed in with clean clothes and dirty clothes.
What do you think?
Is it on the floor there in the bathroom?
It's in the laundry basket.
Were the other posts not good enough?
No.
We just try to collect separate ones and then we separate all of them, just in case one was contaminated, we have something else we can use without having to come and bother you guys.
I was just thinking on Sunday, the last thing we had her, the last thing we had her, the last thing we had her.
So that was like an accident, I guess. Jen saying that. I listened with noise canceling headphones. That leads me to believe something really went on Sunday. And then the Saturday before, what was Stephan freaking out about? Even Maddie was freaking out that night. We'll talk a little bit more about that as we go through all this evidence. You know, I'm linking to all the PDFs below if you need to see what I'm referencing, but I'll tell you some page numbers and everything. The reason why Jen may have said sex stuff that Stephan enacted upon Maddie, his abuse of her, was, quote, not evil. Boy, when we hear that video, I want to hear and see the context of that. I have a theory of why she might have said that. Let's talk about Stephan over-medicating Maddie with extra doses of meds. We're going to talk about Stephan's ex saying he could only really get excited when she laid face down and completely flat. Weird. How Stephan panicked and how he was trying to delete stuff from his Google account but couldn't. Thank the Lord. How Jennifer told the cops they had the wrong guy. And then this really gets me. That's why I made it the thumbnail of this video. The police recovered from USB drives and hard drives 35,000 images of CSAM. I mean, 35,000. Just dealing with these 800 images here to put them into a video is a lot of doing. This video will likely be nearly 2 hours long just to show you nearly 800 images. Boy, think of 35,000 images that cops found, not including Maddie on those images, and how sad that is, and why I have a theory that hard drive may not have been used since 2020, like cops said. We're going to talk about how Jen reacted to Maddie's body being found, why Stephan told his dad he drove to Northport that Wednesday, the same day he was arrested. We're going to talk about that. And why Stephan replied to his dad, Chris Sterns, after Stephan was in jail. Stephan replied to a question his dad asked and said, well, I didn't start it. And let's just talk about this now so I can explain one of those photos you'll see with a phone at the bottom of the door and a crack in the bathroom. The police report says it should be noted prior to the search of Stephan's apartment, I was advised there were photographs located on Stephan's phone where he appeared to record Angelica in secret, that's one of the roommates, in the condo he shared with Jen. While at the apartment, I was able to utilize Stephan's cell phone and recreate the angle and contents of the photographs by placing his cell phone under the crack of Angelica's bedroom door. I photographed the placement of Stephan's cell phone and uploaded it to evidence.com. That's what you're looking at there. I haven't even listened to her interview yet. I might have heard snippets of it. There's so much going around, digging through so much still on my MacBook and up on my Google Drive, everywhere. But I know the cops surprised her by telling her in her interview, hey, is this a photo of you? And she's like, I guess shocked. She didn't realize Stephan had been photographing her in a place where you expect privacy. Like, you know, if you're in your bedroom or your bathroom, you don't want anyone pointing a phone at you unknowingly under the crack of the door. What a creep. So let's start there. Just relax as we talk about all these topics in this case and you watch the photos from the case file. Check the links below to see if I have uploaded the photos over on Patreon, because I know certain people, they really want to download them. They want to recreate their own videos. They want to discuss this case quite a bit. So first, let's talk about Maddie or Jen's journal that read, my fluctuating moods, anxiety, and trauma-related symptoms affect my memory, concentration, focus, and energy levels. I also have severe trauma responses when I encounter all males that resemble my perpetrator. Now that sounds more like something Maddie would write, especially when she crossed out that resemble my perpetrator. I understand that. Sometimes you want to write stuff down, like my stuff in my journal. It's written so sloppy for privacy's sake, I can't even read it sometimes. So maybe if it was Maddie, it's something she wanted to get out. Heartbreaking. She wanted to get that out, but then she went and crossed it off so no one would find it. The conflicting emotions, it makes me feel even sadder for her. Now, if it is Jennifer's journal, and part of me feels like I've heard rumors that Jennifer may have experienced abuse herself. And of course, that's no excuse to serve your daughter up to a perpetrator, but it would make sense in terms of Jennifer, if she experienced abuse and she didn't heal from it, but instead went the other way, maybe got mad at her daughter for even existing, or mad at her daughter for not experiencing what Jennifer experienced. Not all survivors do this, of course, but maybe Jennifer went the wrong way and said, fine, I went through it, she can go through it. I don't know, I'm trying to jump into this woman's brain. I know a lot of people call Jennifer diminished capacity. They have all types of names for this woman. The more I watch Jennifer, I don't want to call her an evil genius or an idiot savant. She is smarter than people give her credit for. That's what I will say. I think, like my mom used to say, she's playing the nut role. I've met certain people where they will put on that affect, that affect, like, oh, they even almost talk like babies. Like this one woman I met, da, 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 da. You know, it's just that, what, oh, what, you know, but it was such an act, because when the mask would drop, the evil would come out. And I think Jennifer's mask dropped at certain points during these interviews. When she talked about it, quote, not being evil, that sex stuff, and different points, the mask will drop. So some people, maybe Jennifer's putting on that, oh, maybe she's not faking every mental health issue, of course, or every physical ailment, but I believe there's an amount of putting on where it's kind of like, oh, huh, what? Stephan's so manipulative. Oh, you've got the wrong guy. What? I don't know. We dropped her off. I assumed, you know, I gave him the benefit of the doubt. And when that's not the real Jennifer. The real Jennifer, I believe, could be a lot more calculated, a lot more cunning, and a lot more intelligent than people give her credit for. That's just my take. But next, let's talk about this famous and controversial 14-page incident report PDF. So I received this directly from the reporting officer, Officer Kevin O'Malley. He's the one who wrote it, but I received it directly from Orange County Sheriff's Office. It's dated February 26, 2024, wherein Jennifer Soto spoke of her daughter Maddie's sex abuse, the sex stuff, as not evil, but the murder was spoken of as evil. I can't wait to hear this interview. So as soon as I saw, I think it was WFTV or someone reporting about this, I was searching for the exact words, evil. Where is it in this PDF? I want to see how the officer wrote it. And I found it. And it's only one PDF, I've linked to it below, where I found that interesting event. So it reads, we began speaking about the living situation in the residence as it appeared common that Maddie and Stephan Sterns slept in the same bed together, even though they were not blood related or even extended family. I don't know how Jennifer thought people would think it's okay for her and Stephan to go sleep in another bed. I don't know why she thought that was going to go over well. You know, maybe she knew it wouldn't and she kept trying to like couch it in other terms. Now, of course, I've heard of co-sleeping, family beds and all that. You know, you see these communes and you see different things. I mean, I loved co-sleeping. My children, of course, when they were babies, like I had a bassinet right next to the bed. You know, my daughter, she slept in bed with my husband and I. She was nursing every hour. I wasn't about to wake up every hour. It was hard enough just to turn over and nurse her every hour, let alone wake up and go into a different room every hour. I get when the kids are really young, they want to stay in your bed with you. That was fine with me when they were babies. Even when they were toddlers or whatever, I can't remember when they stopped. And of course, if they're 3 and 4 and there's a storm, they're still going to bombard you and come in your room. And some people, yes, they sleep with their kids in their room. There's nothing wrong with that as long as nothing untoward is happening, of course. But it's quite another ball game to have some weird freaky boyfriend who won't even put a ring on it come into your room, and then you say, yes, my 13-year-old daughter can go off in a separate room and sleep with you upstairs. No, that's icky. Jennifer Soto said she had a rule that Maddie was not allowed to sleep in the bed with Stephan Sterns, so maybe she had that rule at first. If that's even true, maybe she was trying to make it seem like she was a protective mother at first, but then she let her guard down. I don't know if she ever really was a protective mother. Maybe she was. I hate to accuse people falsely. I learned my lesson in that case with Heidi Broussard and her fiance Shane Carey. He gave a weird interview. I was comparing him to Chris Watts. I was wrong. Ever since then, I really like to give people the benefit of the doubt, even if stuff seems weird. But In this case, with such a young girl being so harmed, it's very difficult to give Jennifer the benefit of the doubt, especially after reading this. Jennifer Soto claimed Stephan Sterns never requested to sleep in the same bed as Maddie, but she struggled to maintain focus when she answered the question. So again, is she hiding stuff for him? Like, oh, Sterns never asked for Maddie to sleep in bed with him. You know, it's not his fault. And he's going to say the same thing similarly or allude to it when he talks to his dad on the jail phone call. Still waiting for that audio we paid for. Anyway, Jennifer couldn't maintain focus when she answered that question. Maybe she was lying, like, oh. Jennifer claimed Maddie asked for sleepovers with Sterns and said she wanted to watch movies and eat snacks. She then went into talking about the three of them staying in the same bed together back in June of 2023 and described Jen would sleep on one side of the bed, Maddie would sleep in the middle, and Sterns would sleep on the other side. All of this is problematic. Jennifer acknowledged she eventually okayed the sleepovers between Maddie and Stephan Sterns. Nope, no, not cool. You keep your guard up. You know, you have this random man who's in and out, who's a layabout, who doesn't want to get a job. He's not reliable. No. He doesn't get the privilege of being around your daughter, especially not alone in some bedroom with her. Now, I get it. If you're a family, you're trusting, you're together, you want to lay in bed together and watch a movie and eat popcorn all together, all of you, that's fine and nothing's going on. But it's still not the same as, you know, I hate the way she's blaming Maddie so much. Like she is just so harsh towards her daughter. She doesn't have anything really good to say about her daughter. In all of this stuff I've read, I don't remember Jennifer complimenting Maddie. I don't remember her saying just how beautiful and smart and intelligent and talented Maddie is. I just hear a lot of victim blaming from her own mother. So she's saying, oh, it wasn't Stephan who asked for the sleepovers. Maddie would beg for the sleepovers. She's blaming this little child almost for her own abuse. I hate that. You see cases like that where people who've been through it and then they get the nerve and they're brave enough to tell an adult to make an outcry. And unfortunately, some moms especially have told the victim, they've told them, oh, well, what did you do to encourage it? Because they're blaming the child because they can't handle how difficult it would be to turn on the man, to turn on whoever the perpetrator is, to turn him in and choose their child over the perpetrator. Instead of, I'm so sorry, I didn't realize this was happening. Let me get you out of this situation. Let me turn him in. But anyway, Jennifer okayed the sleepovers between Maddie and Sterns. Not right. The interview continued in a path as to find out if Jennifer had any knowledge of the current location of Maddie's body, but Jen remained steadfast. She did not know where Maddie's body was. She continued to deny all involvement in regards to having knowledge of Maddie's murder and continued to deny all knowledge of Maddie's victimizations by Stephan Sterns. Here we go. During portions of the interview, Jennifer continuously protected Sterns, was questioned about why she prioritizes Stephan over Maddie. See, I don't think we have this interview yet. I think I've heard all of them from her. And I might have enough space at the end to just play one of her interviews, maybe the transport interview, maybe not, we'll see. I can play it as you watch the rest of the photos. So maybe I can listen with you and see if I hear any of this stuff. But I don't know if we have this actual audio, or maybe it was captured on body cam video. She was asked, okay, why are you prioritizing Stephan Sterns over Maddie? And even at one point referred to the sex stuff as not evil, but the murder of Maddie as evil. Now I gotta know that exact context. What sex stuff is she talking about that's not evil? Once you get into, this man's kinks, and we'll get into that, and how he must have treated this child since just being an innocent little 8-year-old girl. Is Jennifer literally saying it's not evil for 30-something-year-old Stephan to do these horrible things to little 8-year-old Maddie all the way up until her 13th birthday around that time? The interview eventually ended, but Jennifer did not show the same level of emotion or care in regards to Maddie's ongoing victimization by Stephan Sterns than she did her disappearance. Does that mean Jennifer cared more about Maddie being gone and missing at that point, or murdered at that point, but not focus on her being victimized? It appeared to me says this officer, that she has already accepted that the victimization was happening and her emotion appeared fictitious. I can't wait to see that. So we have to hear it, we have to see it, we have to know the tone, the body language and everything. But this is my theory. Is Jennifer part of those people who are trying to literally decriminalize assaults on minors? It's a movement. I've seen the movement. I've seen a few outtakes and videos on Twitter of TED Talks. There was this one woman giving a TED Talk. I can't remember her name. Probably won't play that video. It's ridiculous. Her theory, and I like a lot of different people's TED Talks, so, I'm not some anti-science person. I love psychology. I love digging into advancements, but I am not with this theory. This woman had the nerve to say, basically, pedos are going to exist. They have their proclivities. They have their desires. So the theory, in essence, was we can't do away with them, so we might as well let them do what they're going to do. I mean, literally ridiculous. I've seen stuff like that. I remember first being online, I've been publishing online, honestly, for nearly 20 years now. Seriously, it'll be, 2005? Like I've mentioned before, I put up my first blog post, so I've seen a lot. I've reported quite a few things to the FBI, internet crimes. I mean, I literally ran across a site about man, boy, love, or whatever. It was in the description, and you'll see like different organizations try to come along, try and make us think, even though we're smarter than this, make us think that an adult taking advantage of a child should be normalized. And that's what I'm wondering. Is Jen part of that movement? Is she part of that idiotic thinking that tries to get society to believe, oh yeah, murder is wrong, which it is, of course, but these pedos wanting kids are not wrong? I mean, that should never be. Maddie was a young girl. She could not consent, and that's how the law should stay. Stephan Sterns is where he needs to be. Eventually, he needs to be in prison, of course. But it's just ridiculous. That's my theory. I want to hear more about why she's saying this sex stuff isn't evil. Is not evil. What is her belief system? What is her logic? Where is her mind? Is that why she felt so free to offer Maddie up to her boyfriend? The ultimate in selfishness. She pretends, oh yeah, it was selfish of me because I wanted a good night's sleep. I think her selfishness goes a lot deeper. Her selfishness could have, when I go all the way to the far end and think of these 35,000 images of CSAM that cops found, presumably on Sterns' USBs and his hard drive and everything, did Jen's selfishness go up to the point where she trafficked her own daughter? Was that what this was really about? Sterns' parents spoke of Jen and Stephan meeting. Maybe they met around 2016. Now it's all coming together. And they were friends first for about 16 months. I remember kind of hearing that, and then it turned intimate. Well, it turned intimate, whatever. I don't know if it was all hot and freaky at first, but then Jennifer's medication changed and her libido just plummeted. And so did Maddie turn into their cash cow? For Jennifer, oh, Stephan, leave me alone. Did she know? Oh, he has eyes for designs on my daughter. Go mess with my daughter. Saves me from having to mess with him. She talks about his kinks of, anal sex and how she didn't want to do it. And if she didn't want to do it, what makes Jen think her little daughter should be exposed to that? It's just outrageous when you think about this. Now again, I know I'm trying to still toe the line. We have to be responsible journalists. We have to be responsible YouTubers. We can't just speculate willy-nilly. We stay away from lawsuits and even just from blaming someone falsely. I really don't want to do that. That's why I've dug so much into this case. But everything that comes out makes Jen look more and more complicit, makes her look like a horrible mom with guilty knowledge. Let's keep moving. On page 37 of the 52-page PDF, there's these huge PDFs from Kissimmee that gave us a whole bunch of knowledge along with all the other stuff. It says Jennifer assumed law enforcement was looking into Stephan because he was the last person to see Maddie, and she wanted to believe he had nothing to do with her going missing. Jennifer said once we showed her the photographs, that's when she realized Stephan was guilty. I asked her what she thought Stephan was guilty of, and she replied, he's been grooming and abusing my child. I asked Jennifer if she thought Stephan killed Maddie, and she said, at this point, I do. Okay. That'll be interesting to see. I asked her why she thought that, and she said, we showed her a photograph of Maddie slumped over in Stephan's vehicle. Jennifer said she felt like Stephan dumped her body somewhere but didn't know where. I pressured Jennifer on where she thought Stephan would have dumped Maddie's body, and she kept saying she didn't know. Jennifer became upset and said she would tell us if she knew because she wanted her child back. We arrived at the Orange County Sheriff's Office where Jennifer was taken inside to be interviewed by Detective O'Malley and Detective Smallwood further. Whew, can't wait to get these videos. Can you imagine? Then we'll see her affect. We'll see, okay, is she lying when she said she wanted her child back? Many people misinterpreted Jennifer. Sometimes her cadence is hard to pick up what she actually saying. During one of those news interviews, she said she didn't want her child to come back harmed. Some people thought she just said, I didn't want my child to come back. But this is saying, oh yeah, if she knew where she was, where Stephan had dumped her, she would tell police because she wanted her child back. I don't know. Was that true? I can't help but think of Deb Sterns, Stephan Sterns' mom, and she called herself her Irish prescient. She called herself kind of her Irish prescient. I had to look it up. Having or showing knowledge of events before they take place. She does have a pretty good vocabulary. She bragged on Stephan's vocabulary. I did notice he kind of has a great vocabulary too. The way he said Maddie was shambling off in that direction. Lies, of course, but words I had to look up. He may be a smart one. He may be the real evil genius here. But I can't help but think of that dream, that foreboding dream that Deb had where she was claiming, oh, maybe Jen caught Maddie and Stephan, and Jen, like basically she was inferring maybe Jen was the one who hit Maddie in the head or broke her neck. And now with all this coming out, we learned that Maddie's hyoid bone in her neck likely broken, or one part of it was damaged, and she likely died from strangulation, asphyxiation. Very sad. That's what I had expected, even though we had heard rumors of blunt head force trauma or blunt trauma and all that before. I was like, that doesn't maybe make sense unless it had happened at a different location, because it's such a crowded apartment with so many people. You would think it was something quiet like strangulation. Now on page 41 of 52, it says, Chris said Stephan looked very stressed out on Saturday, February 24th, 2024 in the evening. Chris said he felt that Stephan was more stressed out over something rather than upset at something, but had no idea what was stressing him out. Now we did hear that. Again, just go back in the playlist, listen, it's below, you'll see podcasts, listen on YouTube to all these interviews if you haven't heard them. Check the links below, I'll put them there too. What was stressing Stephan out so much? And Maddie was stressed too that night. Saturday, the night before her birthday party. I'm asking myself, did Stephan find out something about Maddie Saturday that caused this stress? Is that when he made the decision to end her life? Is that why it was premeditated? So in my opinion, it had to be some type of event that would expose his crimes against Maddie. It had to be something big, maybe. I keep, of course, tossing the theory of pregnancy around. Did Maddie find out Stephan had impregnated her? Did she tell him? Did she talk about keeping the baby? My mind goes off on these tangents because did she just threaten to expose what he did without being pregnant? Exposure. I keep feeling like something big was going to happen just where Stephan was going to be exposed. Of course, he doesn't want to go down for all these crimes, and he made the decision to take Maddie out. Was she threatening to tell on him? I don't know. So it probably wasn't the fact that Maddie had just told him sometime in the week before or whatever that she had a crush on some boy. And not just because Jen said that Stephan said that notion of Maddie having a crush on a little boy was super cute. It says in the report, Jennifer didn't know if Maddie told Sterns about her crush in person or over the phone, but Jennifer told the officer that Sterns was excited for Maddie having a crush and that it was, quote, super cute. Maddie was also freaking out that Saturday. So now we're learning everything's coming clearer. The puzzle pieces are coming together, and I'm trying to put them all together in my mind. Chris, we listened to the interview, said Sterns was really upset over something Saturday. What made him so upset? And then there's this Orange County Sheriff's Office Incident Report 24011-313. It's 3 pages long. It's by Reporting Officer Chandler Kerrigan. It says, quote, I responded to and made contact with some girl, her name's redacted. She's a friend of Maddie's. She stated that the last time she spoke to Maddie was Sunday via text, and she appeared normal. So Sunday, Maddie was normal. But on Saturday, February 24th, 2024, she received a text from Maddie saying she was having, quote, a meltdown and, quote, to help her. What was Maddie melting down about? Now, this friend didn't see the message until Sunday, and when she asked Maddie if she was okay by Sunday, she said she was fine. She had previously received a text message from Maddie on February 2nd, 2024, saying that when she turned 13, she was going to go run away, go in the woods, build a house. I don't blame Maddie. She wanted to be away from this mess. She didn't know why she wanted to run away other than she knew she had been arguing with someone, probably Jen. They argued a lot. She only heard stuff regarding Jen, I believe, but never stuff regarding Stephan Sterns. This friend knew that Maddie had a crush on a 7th grader named whatever the name is, but she didn't know his last name. She did not know where Maddie would go, and she had no other info. So, the Saturday meltdown. Now, Sterns had a crazy temper, and I'm wondering, part of me is like, okay, even though he told Jen it's super cute that Maddie has a crush on some boy, did he have a meltdown over that? Over the thought of his little plaything, his little perfect plaything? You know, he probably felt so possessive over her. He's had probably unfettered access to this girl since she was 8 years old, you know, up until she was 13. He wasn't going to give up his toy. I'm not disrespecting Maddie. I'm looking at the horrificness of Stephan's thinking. How many moms are you going to meet out there that'll give you unfettered access to their beautiful little daughters? Hopefully not many at all. But he had gotten in so much with Jennifer and his access to her daughter that it even affected his dating life with an adult woman. We'll get to that part coming up. So, any change in that situation, did it freak Stephan out? Whether Maddie was pregnant, whether she threatened to tell, whether it was just this crush she had on a boy, any one of them could have set Stephan off. Is that what happened that Saturday? So his crazy temper, both Stephan's friend Chase Leonard and Stephan's parents spoke of instances, and even Jen spoke of instances when Stephan would fly off the handle. Now, we talked about that JS for Justice interview with Chase. He mentioned that Stephan threw a fit like a baby. Can you imagine? I mean, this guy, I don't know how old he was when this happened, but he's on the floor kicking and screaming like a toddler, throwing a tantrum when someone had just cleaned Stephan's desk, and he threw a tantrum. Now, in his parents' interview, Stephan's mom and dad talked about his temperament being something that would come out of nowhere. His mom likened Stephan to her mother, if you could hear her, you know, in the background talking. Like someone who would just hold a grudge against people, hold on to some event you thought maybe they should be over, and then they bring it up again. Deb said she's not like that. She claims Stephan was like that. But Stephan might have been more like his parents than he realized. Maybe his dad's side of, you know, all the stuff his mom found when they were going through their divorce and they didn't get divorced. All the stuff she told the courts about his little stash. No child stuff, so I don't want to do that to the man, but you know what I mean. And then Deb, she's like, oh, they called me, you know, a screamer or whatever. I don't scream, I yell. You'll know it if I scream. Yeah, she sounds like a piece of work. But Stephan's mom, Deb, spoke of the time she slapped her own husband, Chris, and Chris warned her, look, whatever you do to me, I'm going to do to you. And so one time she dumped a bowl of popcorn on his head, so he dumped popcorn on her head, and she's like, okay, I get it. I won't do that to you anymore. So they make it seem like they're more even keel. And even Chris talked about like Stephan might turn on a dime, and it sounds like they were really walking on eggshells around Stephan because they didn't know what he would do. So even Jen mentioned how angry Stephan would become. Not to give him any excuses, of course. There's no justification for anything he did. I'm just trying to understand. I'm wondering if his alleged traumatic brain injury from when he was hit, apparently twice, by a truck as a kid, running over him, hitting his head, and then they backed up over him, according to his mom. Does that have anything to do with his temperament? I don't know. So I'm saying all that to say, if there was some crisis, maybe Maddie said something as small as, I'm gonna have a boyfriend now, or I have a crush on this kid, or I'd rather be with him, or I'm gonna tell mom, well, maybe not mom, I'm gonna go to the cops, or I'm pregnant, or, you know, I'm just theorizing all these things. Did Stephan snap and say, I've got to get rid of this girl tomorrow, after her birthday party, before she makes it to school on Monday? Now, according to Deb, that trip, supposedly, unless she's just trying to alibi Stephan, but maybe not, she she's saying the trip to come up to Kissimmee to go to Maddie's birthday party was Maddie's idea. Stephan had planned to stay the week. Maybe that's the premeditation where that comes in. Of course, his cheap butt wasn't buying her any gifts, so Deb gave some beautiful jewelry to Stephan to give to Maddie. And then they're going to find out that he didn't even go to the birthday party. That'll surprise his parents. I guess my point was, it wasn't like whatever happened Saturday precipitated, oh, I need an emergency trip to Kissimmee. No, he had planned to come up there anyway. And I still don't remember when he arrived because Jen and Stephan with their ducking and dodging. I know he arrived Sunday night. Sunday night, he arrived at the condo, not at the birthday party, about a half an hour maybe after Maddie got home. How convenient. But before Jen arrived home from work. And of course, blame it all on Maddie. Maddie wanted me there, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, again, she was probably so confused, even though she was happier that Stephan had moved away. She thought it was weird. But, you know, these are people blaming Maddie, and I hate when they do that. Maddie wanted him, you know, Deb says. Maddie wanted him there. She called him, like, it's almost like Deb overheard the conversation. Anyway, I'm landing the plane now. It wasn't necessarily like whatever happened on Saturday that was so upsetting to several people, at least was very upsetting, according to these witnesses, upsetting to Maddie, upsetting to Sterns. Whatever it was, it's not like that was something that, oh, spur of the moment, I got to get up here this weekend. No, I think Stephan took advantage of him being there anyway to eventually get rid of Maddie that weekend. I'm starting to believe it happened late Sunday night into Monday. On page 45, now Stephan's Google searches are described. Another factory reset was done. He did too. What an imbecile. If he wanted to hide the actual contents of his phone, you think he would have just like run over his phone and smashed it. And of course, that's not if stuff still wasn't on the cloud or on a different Google Drive. But anyway, another factory reset was done on Stephan's cell phone on February 27th at midnight. It just says 000 hours. So that's like basically Monday night at midnight. This would be the time frame of his last statements to law enforcement and before he drove Jennifer's car to St. Cloud. Here we go. Also on Stephan's cell phone was over 1,000 images in some type of sexual offense and photographs. Most of these photographs are graphic in nature. They will be described upon reviewing Stephan's Google information. But here it goes. Stephan searched for this sevoflurane on 2 different occasions. I might be pronouncing that wrong. Some kind of medication. Now he searched for it on February 12th and February 14th, Valentine's Day. And I was like, wait, didn't something else happen on Valentine's Day? Yes, I searched. Maddie's 13-year-old friend told police that Maddie told her that she stopped taking her medication on Valentine's Day, but for an unknown reason. She described Maddie as nice, funny, caring on her medication, but snappy when she's off her medication. This friend was almost better at complimenting Maddie than her own mother was. But anyway, February 14th, Maddie stops taking her medication. Her friend doesn't know why. But also on that day, Stephan is searching for sevoflurane on Valentine's Day and 2 days prior. And this is, you know, very close to the time frame of Maddie's death. It's less than 2 weeks before Maddie died, before she was coldly murdered. So sevoflurane is a volatile anesthetic that provides hypnosis, amnesia, analgesia, akinesia, and autonomic blockade during surgical and procedural interventions. Wow, it sounds like the stuff you get, propofol, when you're put under for surgery. I mean, the best sleep of my life, let me tell you. But why was he searching for that? Now, we don't know if he obtained any or if he administered any to Maddie. I have to, see reports. Clinical uses include inhalation induction of general anesthesia in neonatal and pediatric patients, secondary to IVs. This info was obtained by Google. It is unknown why Stephan would be searching this item using the terms show up in drug test when he wasn't attempting to get a job or he didn't have any children that were having surgery. So was this a drug he was searching for to give to Maddie? Was he trying to find a way to induce her into a deeper sleep? Had she started refusing him or something? Or Was he trying to induce a miscarriage? And why is he saying shows up in drug tests? Remember with Chris Watts in that case, he allegedly had searched, and we saw it in Discovery, where he had searched for like oxycodone or something like that, because allegedly he was trying to induce a miscarriage on Shanann, and then ultimately he ended up killing her. And of course, the children, and horrible case. And I'm wondering if this is the same modus operandi. Did Stephan look for something to just knock Maddie out at first, or what was he doing 2 weeks prior to her murder? And did he ultimately end up deciding, oh, I'll just end up strangling her? Was that a last minute decision? Like, what happened? On that same page, it shows the text messages between Jen and Stephan on Sunday night. On Sunday night, the night I think she may have been murdered, or hours after into the night. Upon reviewing Jennifer's cell phone download, the following was observed. So Jen would set an alarm at 7:30 a.m. on days that she would bring Maddie to school. There were messages between Jen and Stephan on 2/25/24. Okay, so this is late Sunday night, 11:39 p.m. that stated the following. Jen texted Stephan, make sure she goes to bed right now. Ugh, why? You know what's not sensical about that? None of it's sensical, but this is 11:39. Okay, Jen is saying, oh, I sent Maddie and Stephan upstairs to sleep around 11 p.m. because I needed a really good night's sleep. And then at 11:39, she's texting Stephan, make sure she goes to bed right now. Well then, if you wanted your daughter to go to bed right now and you wanted a good night's sleep, why not just, first of all, send Stephan packing? But anyway, send him upstairs. Say, Maddie, lay right here next to me and go to sleep right now. It makes no sense for her to say, I sent them off because I needed a good night's sleep. And then at 11:39, she's like, make sure she goes to bed right now, Stephan. Stephan replies, okay, sweetie, good night. Now, is this whole text exchange just a ruse? I don't know. Was Maddie already gone? It depends on when rigor mortis sets in and all of that. And maybe she wasn't in a state of rigor mortis by the morning. So we don't know what time of death. I don't know what the time of death actually is. So Jennifer replies, good night. She didn't call him sweetie. And then Stephan texts Jennifer, she's built her nest and she's settling in now. How sickening. But what does that mean? Does she like cocoon herself around with a bunch of blankets or pillows, trying to get away from him? Is this code for whatever I did to her is over? And I don't know. And Jennifer replies, okay, good. It says these messages confirm what Jennifer stated during interviews, that Stephan and Maddie were alone in his bedroom prior to her death the following morning. So they're saying she died that morning. I don't see a time of death yet. We see the cause. On page 46 of 52, it says on 2/26/24 at 9:19 a.m., Jen's cell phone was physically removed from the wireless charger. This is consistent with her daily activities with removing the alarm notifications or snoozing the alarm. There were several other messages between Jen and Stephan regarding Maddie sleeping in the same room together. There was also text messages between Stephan and Jen claiming Stephan gave Maddie an extra dose of her medication when it was not necessary. Now, we don't know Jen's response to that. I'm assuming, was she like, okay, whatever, you doubled up her meds or how much ever you gave her? It's like a consistent theme of Stephan probably using medication to knock Maddie out, to abuse her. We think of that first instance where he did take advantage of her and he's like, oh, I'll let you, play with my phone or whatever if you hold in your mouth for like 3 seconds. And he was manipulating her when she was a little girl. And even then, a lot of times the abuse happened when she was asleep. So did he look for stronger and stronger drugs? Would she fight back and say, stop doing this? And did he think he needed stronger and stronger medications or what, to subdue her? On page 49 of 52, it says, on April 10th, 2024, at 14:53 hours, so that is 2:53 p.m., Stephan calls Chris. So he's in jail now. Stephan calls Chris Sterns using his inmate ID. 12 minutes and 57 seconds into the call, Stephan tells Chris, so it says, quote, you know that I would have never wanted that for her, meaning Madeline. Wanted what for her? Stephan then says, quote, I am not sure really that any one person is specifically responsible. It's probably a combination of factors that led to it. And here we go again, quote, I have never felt anything like that before. It was horrible. So we don't have context, and of course Stephan is being all vague and ugh. Anyway, Chris tells Stephan that he hopes the truth will come out, and Stephan responds, quote, well, yeah, as if he was dodging that statement. This call was downloaded, submitted to evidence.com, so this is one of the ones we've paid for and we're still waiting for. So near the end of the 52-page PDF, it says, quote, Will asked Jennifer if she knew that Maddie was being abused by Stephan prior to the interview at the OCSO, and she said no. Will stated Jennifer texted Madeline's father about not wanting her to be filmed underneath bathroom doors. I don't know the context there. Jennifer said she had just heard a story about someone filming in bathrooms on an airplane. Or did she know about Stephan filming under bathroom doors or what? Now here we go with these 35,000 images. In both of these PDFs from the Kissimmee Police Department, the 52-page one and the 80-page one, they speak of shockingly finding 35,000 images of CSAM on 2 USB drives and a hard drive that was not used since 2020. So my theory about why it was not used since 2020. Okay, it mentions my birthday. On April 22nd, 2024, I responded to FDLE and made contact with Agent Torres to retrieve the downloads from the 2 USB drives and hard drive. Now, this is out of context. I believe they're talking about Stephan's USB drives and hard drives they recovered from his dad's storage room. It says, upon reviewing the data from the USB drives, one of the drives was empty and the other drive contained over 35,000 images of child P. It did not appear that Maddie was in any of those images. The hard drive was not used since 2020 and it did not contain anything of evidentiary value. I hope they can use it to catch other people who created that stuff. Whoever created it, who knows who created it? Who knows if they were images Stephan had downloaded from somewhere? Had he created them himself? Did they include other children he abused? I don't know. We know the first instances of Stephan's abuse of Maddie happened in 2019. She was only around 8. So I'm like, did he transition from using that hard drive around that time, since it wasn't used since 2020, to using his cell phone for images and videos along with his special folder for Maddie on his Google Drive? Maybe. On April 24th, 2024, this case was brought before a grand jury and Sterns was indicted on first-degree premeditated murder. So, here's how Jennifer reacted to them finding Maddie's body. On page 60, it says, I placed a telephone call to Jennifer to let her know that we had located Madeline and she was deceased. Jennifer started to cry over the phone and handed the phone to her father to continue the conversation. Now, was that her way of getting out of reactions? Now, we know, of course, they recorded this phone call. It would be very important, I'm sure. I don't think we've heard it. So she started to cry, but then immediately is like handing the phone to her dad. Like, you talk, like I can't talk. We'll see how genuine some of her reactions are when we really hear and see all of this. I told him that I would be in touch with the family in the next day or two. On March 2nd, at approximately 10 a.m., Detective Smallwood and I responded to the ME's office for Madeline's autopsy. It was performed by Dr. Stephan Giles. Is that not weird? His name is Stephan too. Prior to the autopsy, I examined Maddie's body. When it was initially uncovered, I noticed her socks were clean on the bottom, which confirmed my observations when she was located in St. Cloud. So I think that gives us a hint, maybe, as to how Stephan got her out of the condo. Maybe he must have carried her. I don't know. It's not like he had her feet maybe dragging on the ground, but people are like, how on earth? This isn't some home where it's like an attached garage where you can just bring a body, move a body into your front seat of your car with no one seeing. I mean, this is a pretty well-traveled condo with lots of people, and maybe they have video footage. We just don't know yet how he got her out of that condo into the car. But during the autopsy, Dr. Giles expressed concern over the hyoid bone in Madeline's neck. The doctor stated the right portion of the bone was not intact, which could possibly be related to her being strangled. So The outcome initially of the autopsy was pending. In the 80-page document on page 57, it says, I asked Jennifer to explain her and Stephan's sex life, which she described as vanilla. You know, that's not what the rumors claimed. But Stephan would want to have anal sex with Jennifer, but she didn't want to. So it says, we later spoke about what medication Madeline was taking. It's interesting they put this in this part. Jennifer said Maddie was taking 20 milligrams of Adderall. I've heard online, I've seen comments where people say that's a lot of Adderall. 25 milligrams of hydroxyzine, I don't know if that's right, which is a sleeping medication and an anxiety medication, and Miralax for constipation. And I wrote, or for Sterns' anal sex. People have said, Miralax, we know why she was taking that. I guess aficionados of the anal talk about, you know, cleaning yourself out prior to that. And so I wonder if, unfortunately, that's why they were giving this girl Miralax. I mean, that's just horrible to think of. If some medications we know can cause constipation, some people take Miralax to counteract the effects, but you know, people are thinking, oh no, was it for a more deceptive reason? Deceptive and selfish and just horrific. Loading this girl up with medications, not caring about her sleep, not valuing Maddie's whole mental health, just using and abusing her. And was she used and abused even more than we know? You know, was that upstairs room the room for filming and who knows what, you know? Was he selling images and videos? And was that how Stephan was making this money that his parents don't know how he made? Maybe. That would be just so horrific. Again, I'm not advocating any hate against Jennifer. People are just angry enough with her. Now, on page 58 of 80, it says, Jennifer said when her and Stephan broke up, she could only think of a few times that Maddie slept with Stephan in a separate room. Jennifer said she didn't feel comfortable with Maddie sleeping with Stephan, and it didn't look right to her. I asked Jennifer when she started feeling comfortable with it. She said she was never comfortable with it. I challenged Jennifer about telling them to go to sleep together then, you know, Saturday night, and she said it was a selfish move because she wanted a good night's sleep. Now, that's just wrong. That's just wrong. Jennifer, on the one hand, is going to say, oh, I never really felt comfortable with Maddie and Stephan sleeping alone, which she shouldn't never have felt comfortable with. And so I'm glad this officer, whomever is challenging her, well, you know, okay, you never felt comfortable with this? Then why did you go direct them to go, get out of here Sunday night? You guys go on up there. I need a good sleep. And Jen didn't even have work the next day. I mean, come on. I'm so grateful for my mother, let me tell you. I'm going to get through this without crying. Contrasting this horrible actions, and again, I'm not trying to come down too harsh on Jen, but my mother was so protective of my sister and I. She would not even let us spend the night over anyone's house. You know how normally kids go off and spend the night? My mom's like, I don't know who's over there, those dads, whatever. She protected me. I can count on one hand. I just remember once, when my best friend, my mom got to know her parents and all that, I was allowed to spend the night once because I remember they made fresh squeezed orange juice in the morning. Other than that, when I was a young girl growing up, it was not happening. But Jennifer is saying, oh yeah, it was a selfish move because I wanted a good night's sleep, but she was never quite comfortable with Maddie sleeping alone with Stephan. I don't know, I'm not buying it. Jennifer told Angelica, her roommate, that her and Stephan have not had a sexual relationship within the past 6 months. So all of this, Jennifer's lowered libido, her and Stephan not having sex, all of this lends itself to Jen just pimping out her daughter. I'm sorry, it just lends itself. God forgive me if she didn't know, but that's a whole lot of not knowing. I mean, I know there are people out there who, of course, are sneaky. They go abuse children. They look for opportune moments. They sneak around and another parent might not know. But with Jen, it's like all these opportunities. It just seems too coincidental, just too much turning a blind eye. On page 59 out of 80, it says Jennifer was asked if Stephan has attempted to reach out to her since he was arrested, and she became upset and said no, and it would be stupid if he did. So she became upset, like, because she misses Stephan? And then that leads me to believe, well, who's the mystery person? When we get these phone calls, are we going to hear Jen's voice? I don't know. We'll see. And why would it be stupid? Anyway, Jennifer stated, we asked her about Stephan's sexual kinks, and she said she remembered last night that he had an anal sex kink. Jennifer said she always refused Stephan when he would want that type of relations with her. Jennifer also remembered that Stephan would be easily angered and was very irritable and negative about things. So that's where Jennifer's chiming in about Stephan being easily angered. You got to watch out for those people. Some of them, in our nature, some people we can be the quieter type. I get it. Some people are just genuinely quieter, not loud and boisterous and all that. But Stephan and maybe Jennifer kind of put on that, that little mealy voiced act that Stephan puts on, like, oh, we cared for her so much, and oh, we loved her. She knew nothing but love. And it's like, it's just an act. Because even Jennifer is saying he would be easily angered and was very irritable and negative about things. Yeah, you could see that on him, like, ugh, no matter how much he tries to hide it. Jennifer said Stephan would only get angry at Maddie over normal parenting things. He's not her parent, and I don't like that. Or if Maddie didn't want to do what was asked of her. Jennifer stated she had given Stephan the benefit of the doubt about when he told her he dropped her off at school. Jennifer said Stephan is a master liar and a master manipulator, and she had recently had this conversation with Chris, Stephan's father. So maybe Stephan really is a master manipulator and a liar. I mean, Chris is like, if Stephan's mouth is moving, he's lying. Jennifer assumed law enforcement was looking into Stephan because he was the last person to see Maddie, and she wanted to believe he had nothing to do with her going missing. She says that a lot. I want to say, I want to, and she probably is saying, I want to believe. Page 56 of 80 says, Jennifer said she ended the relationship because he was a messy person. Jennifer said they didn't have a sexual relationship because her medications affected her sex drive. So yeah, even if they did, then you just end it with Stephan. You kick him out of there. You don't offer up your daughter. How long had it been? It had only been 6 months. So was Stephan going from Maddie to Jennifer to Maddie, like, before that? Ugh. On page 53 of 80, it says, approximately 1 year ago, there was an incident where Maddie was upset due to having an argument with her mother, and she called her grandma Yolanda. At that time, Maddie explained she was walking around the neighborhood due to being angry. However, she soon went back home after being told to do so by Yolanda. Yolanda stated she doesn't like Stephan because he doesn't do anything, as in working. She said Jennifer just doesn't want to be alone. Yolanda, she gave a good interview from what I heard. She talked to Maddie and she said, you shouldn't be out there walking around alone. And little did Yolanda know, it was probably safer for Maddie to wander around on the streets than to go back into that condo with Stephan, whom Yolanda picked up on. She just didn't like him. On page 59 of 80, it says, I asked Jennifer if she thought Stephan killed Maddie, and she said, at this point, I do. I think we read this, but Jennifer thought, okay, after they showed her a photo of Maddie slumped over in Stephan's vehicle, she said she felt like Stephan dumped her body somewhere and she didn't know where. But, she became upset and said, yeah, if I knew, I'd tell you, because she wanted her child back. Now, here's where we talk about that other woman Stephan was seeing. On page 75, it says, in 2022, and Stephan were in a brief, intimate relationship. Oh, she's probably so grossed out now. I mean, not knowing the kind of things we know about him, I can see why some people might find him attractive, but it's just so much ick and gross and evil surrounding him, it's hard to see it. But anyway, during that relationship, Marilee would invite Stephan to spend the night with her at her house, but Stephan would refuse. Now listen to this. Stephan told Marilee that he needed to stay at Jennifer's house because Jennifer and Madeline could not sleep without him there. Oh, boo-hoo. They could sleep without him. He further explained, specifically, Maddie would not sleep if he wasn't there, and advised he would sleep in the bed with Jennifer and Maddie. Marilee displayed her discomfort of the sleeping situations, but Stephan continued to live and stay with Jennifer and Madeline. Marilee ended their relationship not long after finding out this info. I don't blame her. It gets weirder and weirder. Imagine you're Marilee, you meet this guy at work at Disney and you think, oh, okay, he's, I guess single, and come on over here. No, he's like, I gotta go sleep with my ex-girlfriend and her 13-year-old daughter. And remember, this is the same woman whom Stephan said, I was in the bed with, Maddie once and I woke up or whatever and I had an erection. It's like, ew, no wonder Marilee was like, too many red flags. Ugh. So it says, I asked Marilee about their intimate relationship more in depth. She disclosed that Stephan had a tough time having an erection. Now, he did talk a lot about kind of stuff like that related to that stuff on Reddit. Marilee described one very weird occasion where Stephan had her lay face down, completely flat, as if she was dead, and had sexual intercourse with her. Marilee said that was the only time he was very erect. Isn't that weird? I asked Marilee if Stephan ever disclosed abusing Maddie, but he never did. So see the full audio for further details. I don't know if we have that interview or not. I still got to search through everything we have. Maybe, I don't know if I'll play that one, but that's pretty gross. He couldn't get excited unless she's like face down, completely still. So that tells you he's either into necrophilia or he's used to just drugging Maddie and then he gets excited. Page 76 reads, now this person has their dates wrong. It says Tuesday, February 28th, but Tuesday was the 27th. As Stephan slept, Jennifer began making phone calls to the national hotline for missing and exploited children about Madeline. So Jennifer's calling. Jennifer also contacted local news stations to put the info out to the public. Soon after, news reporters came to Jennifer's residence and completed an interview with both Jen and Stephan. Detective Hunt responded to Jennifer's residence for follow-up interviews with Jen and Stephan. Detective Hunt received consent from Stephan to review his cell phone. He's going to start freaking out now. During this interview, Jennifer and Stephan were inside her vehicle, outside her residence, because the residence was secured pending a search warrant. So that's how the ball got rolling. I was kind of surprised Jen was the one who was calling the hotline for missing and exploited children, and she was calling the news. So that's how the news started coming. Telemundo or Univision, one of them, they were the first, to be honest. I've looked for all the videos. And then we have WFTV and others and those famous interviews we saw. So it was Jen who was calling the news there. So that part of it makes me think, oh, she really is innocent. She didn't know anything about anything. She was just calling the news to get attention for her missing child. But then the more cynical side of me, of course, the true crimer, says, well, she knew how she was supposed to be acting. She knew a normal mother of a missing child would be calling, trying to get all this attention, and that's why she did it. I don't know, but I'm glad they got them on camera. Okay, so this is Stephan freaking out. Jennifer stated as they were waiting in her vehicle, Stephan became very anxious and very panicky because he wanted his cell phone back. Jennifer eventually gave him her phone, and he started trying to log into his emails, but was unsuccessful due to a two-way authentication issue. Gotta love that two-way authentication. So he couldn't get in. Cops are going to talk about he was trying to delete stuff. That's why he even went to Northport, getting on his parents' Wi-Fi, trying to delete stuff. Thank God he couldn't. It says, I asked Jennifer what the conversation was like between her and Stephan while they waited in the vehicle, while they waited in her vehicle, which she stated they discussed how law enforcement was focusing on Stephan, the wrong guy. I think they're saying Jen was like, oh, they're focused on you, the wrong guy. Or maybe it was Stephan who was saying, I'm the wrong guy. Or maybe they weren't talking about that at all, of course, but Jennifer's just saying they were. Trying to say, they've got the wrong guy. Well, who's the right guy? You know, they kept trying to say, oh, that's such a bad area for, you know, where Stephan dropped off Maddie to walk to school. Oh, yeah, that's such a high abduction area. That's what Stephan told his dad. Yeah, sure. From there, Jennifer and Stephan contacted Sterns to notify him of the situation, asked for assistance with a hotel room for the night. They met Chris at a hotel by Disney where they stayed for the night. So it says Wednesday, February 29th, which was really the 28th. Jennifer and Stephan met with the detectives at OCSO for a press conference. Jennifer eventually learned Stephan left the hotel Tuesday night and traveled to Northport, Florida for unknown reasons. Throughout the interview, Jennifer continues to deny any involvement in the disappearance of Maddie. She denied any knowledge of the abuse of Maddie, that Maddie was suffering. They have that on audio. Page 78 reads, on May 14th, 2024 at 14:03, so that's 2:03 p.m., Stephan makes a call. He's in jail, of course. He makes a call to Chris Sterns. Chris puts the call on speakerphone so Stephan could speak to him and his wife at the same time. Now, Deborah told Stephan someone put on YouTube that he wasn't at Maddie's party. Stephan states he had not made it there in time and everything was going good after he got to the house. So This is when his parents find out via YouTube, wait a minute, Stephan, you told us you were going up to Kissimmee to go to Maddie's party. And this is how they learn you weren't at Maddie's party. But Stephan's like, oh no, I didn't make it in time. But 8 minutes and 32 seconds into this call, Stephan states, quote, there is no reason for anything that to happen that happened. There's no reason for anything that to happen had happened. He's just being vague as usual. So Chris then asked Stephan about the events of Wednesday, February 28th, 2024, meaning why did Stephan drive to Northport, Florida? Stephan stated, quote, I had wanted to grab a few things and get my ducks in a row, kind of prepare myself for whatever was coming, but I couldn't find what I was looking for. So he doesn't say it. He's almost like he's saying, I knew I was going to be arrested. But he doesn't say that. It says this is during the time Stephan tried logging into his Google account using his parents' Wi-Fi, but he was unsuccessful. So that's why he was down there in Northport all early or the middle of the night, or maybe he was just hanging outside. Maybe that's why the dogs alerted and he couldn't get in the house. Was Stephan hanging somewhere close by just trying to hit their Wi-Fi? I'm glad he couldn't. It's believed that Stephan was attempting to log into his Google account to delete the images and videos of his sexually abusing Maddie. So yeah, his phone's gone. The cops have his phone. He's freaking out. He's going to his parents' house to hit their Wi-Fi, I guess hoping maybe even though he's on a different device than normal, oh, if I'm on my parents' Wi-Fi, maybe it'll automatically log me in. So now we know why he went down there. He was trying. Thank God he couldn't get rid of that evidence. Chris tells Stephan he wished they could understand how this whole situation came about. And Stephan replies, well, I didn't start it, so what the heck does that mean? Didn't start what? Is he trying to say Jen started something? She started what? The abuse of Maddie? Or the murder? What is he talking about? Chris told Stephan he participated in it, and Stephan says, yeah. At no point during the conversation did Stephan deny he murdered Maddie. That's it. Those are the high points of this that I want to go over. Let's close with John 18:37. So Pilate said to him, then you are a king? Jesus answered, you say correctly that I am king. This is why I was born, and for this I have come into the world, to testify to the truth. Everyone who is of the truth, who is a friend of the truth and belongs to the truth, hears and listens carefully to my voice. Well, maybe Stephan will start doing that now that he claims he's a Christian on his jail intake forms. I don't know how much time I'll have left to go with these photos, so I'll put something most appropriate for you to listen to. I know we still have a lot to listen to, a lot of interviews to analyze, and I don't know, with all this being released, it's different. It's different than when Chris Watts confessed, when Chris Watts entered his guilty plea. I remember seeing the attorney, Scott Reich. He anticipated Chris Watts is going to plead guilty, and then they just bombarded us, with the discovery, and he was correct. He pled guilty, and the discovery, it was one link, and everyone was trying to hit it, and it just blew up, and different people got different versions of discovery. Now, with what they're releasing with Stephan, it's kind of like confusion. Some people are saying, oh, well, we didn't release that, or go to this agency, that agency released it. Whatever's happening, I feel like they're releasing it for a reason, and so it's in chunks. I feel like this is the biggest chunk we've gotten. Of course, before we got the 896-page PDF, but now we've got like all these photos. We've got more videos. The videos are coming piecemeal too. Some of them that technically should have had before because they were part of the missing persons case. Like that video of Jen saying, Sunday was the last night we had her. Technically, I should have had that before because that was part of the missing persons case info that they were allowed to release previously. So I know, I get it. It's just a lot of info, a lot of photos, a lot of stuff, different agencies all over the place. Maybe they're releasing these chunks because maybe Sterns is saying, I better plead guilty, and maybe they'll take the death penalty off the table. I don't know. Florida doesn't mess around, but we will see. Something might be coming. And if that happens, maybe we'll get even more discovery. Of course, not the horrible stuff. We don't want to see the abuse stuff. It's just more of the interviews, more of the Sterns and Soto, Jennifer interrogations. That's the stuff I really want to see. And maybe it could go on as they're saying, maybe no charges will ever be brought against Jennifer. Maybe her choices, just like Nicole Kessinger's choices, will make them social pariahs. And is that punishment enough? I know a lot of people say no, but we'll deal with what we have, and God always wins. Thank you so much for watching all this. Listen to whatever I put next. Take care.
Detective on OCSO case 24-00-11313. Transportation of Jennifer Soto to Central Operations.
Jen, will he sit in the back seat okay, Brian?
Yeah, he'll probably honestly stand on the center console watching you drive.
Does he?
Oh, critic.
Yeah.
Backseat driver becomes console driver. Okay.
Are you the Nissan over there?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. I'm right next to you.
That's yours there?
Yeah, that's that piece of junk.
Okay, when do you get a really nice upgrade? Hey.
All right, it's going to be a little cramped for about probably 30 minutes or so.
Will the press release start without us?
We'll probably get there in time. So how long have you lived in Florida?
I'm gonna say I moved when I was like 14 or 15. My mom bought a house and my dad gave up his half of custody so we can move down here. I'm gonna say 14, 15, maybe 15. And then I moved back to New York City when I was 21 for like a year to try to live that life.
City life?
Try to live that city life. Work in an office, party at night. That was exhausting, and honestly, I did not like it. I just like going home and going to sleep.
Yeah, it wasn't for you.
No, I did not like the commute, the subway. I mean, I lived in New York, so I was used to subways and buses and all that stuff. But when you actually had to do it every day for work, that was pretty exhausting.
So the subway is kind of my pet peeve. I can't stand the idea of being, a foot away from someone that I don't know, for an extended period of time. Because I didn't realize just how crowded they were until I took one for the first time. And it's like person standing in front of you, person standing behind you.
And then you're all sharing the same pole, so like dirty hands.
Oh yeah, there's one person. It's just like stacking hands. So I've never been a fan. Never been a fan at all. Did you guys get any sleep last night?
I think I went to bed around 3:30, 4 o'clock, and then I woke up around 8 or 9. So I slept a few hours, but
good.
I snoozed a little bit while we were waiting for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I'm sorry to make you wait so long. I really was on the way out here. And
No,
then,
it's okay. If
like
you guys had leads, I don't give a shit. Like, I don't care as long as you guys are doing what you guys got to be doing. Like, and it seems like you are. So
Yeah, no, we didn't. I went home for a couple hours just because I had to sleep, but came back out. And this is the only thing anyone's working on right now, so this is important. Yeah.
Just keep. My anxiety keeps my brain circling, just wondering, where is she? Is she okay? I hope she's fine. Like, I just want my baby back. I just want her back.
It's natural. I mean, that's just about the only rational way to be, right?
Yeah.
New message.
So you've been getting bombarded by the news media and reporters. How are they getting your number?
I think my family and my friends. So on the first day, my family and friends made like flyers and put my phone number on it.
Okay. That's
And
probably
then
why.
also they all reached out to the news media to try to get their attention. And I don't know if they gave them my number or what, but
Probably. Or I mean, they probably just looked it up online. It's surprisingly easy sometimes.
yeah, I'm like, I haven't directly contacted any news station, I don't think. No, just kidding. Just Fox 35, and I did that like on the first night, like right after we got home and like we reported her missing.
Yeah.
I called that night, but they needed more information from the police. But that was the only place I called, and then everyone else started calling me. So I'm just feeling super overwhelmed with all these messages, and they all want to meet up or interview or do this or that, and I've just been pushing it off because I wasn't home.
Yeah.
I didn't want to do anything at the hotel.
Well, I saw you did one interview, right? Because I think I saw you on the news last night.
Yeah. I did, I think, 3 on-camera interviews. But, there's not, for today, there's not much else for me to say. There hasn't been more information. I'm not going to find out until whatever happens to the press release, so.
Well, I think I spoke with Stephanie's ex, and Stephanie had expressed to me earlier just that she was feeling, I guess, helpless. Like y'all have done so much. Your whole family has been so like active and looking for her and making the flyers, making phone calls, and drawing this attention. But at a certain point, it's like you've done everything that you can do, and it's natural to just kind of feel like, you have to depend on now us to kind of do our thing,
Yeah. Everyone, we were talking about, like, possibly, I guess that's something we wanted to throw by you, or maybe I already did, I'm not sure.
Maybe.
But, a search party thing, but we didn't want to get in the way of you guys, and you guys have already scoured the woods multiple times, so, like, that's the only place I would think of searching, right? So we don't want to do that. I think we're talking about, like, maybe hosting, like, a vigil of some sort or something, just to,
Okay.
I'm not sure, we're just trying to get some attention, more eyes on her face, more eyes.
Well, speaking of woods, so you mentioned to me that you, Stephan, and her used to go hiking in St. Cloud.
Just me and her, and actually my sister.
Oh, okay. So you used to go down to St. Cloud.
Yeah.
Do you remember where you went?
Lake Lizzie Preserve. It's about 35 minutes off of 192. It's past St. Cloud, a little bit before Harmony.
Oh, so that's way south.
Yeah.
Got it. It's like that's like, what, 2 hours? An hour from your house?
No, 35 minutes.
Oh, only 35 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, no, I know that would be hard for a girl to get to.
Yeah, I don't think she would even remember how to get there. It's been at least over a year and a half since we did that hike.
But it was just you and your sister and her.
Yeah, and the kids, yeah.
Got it. Yeah, that was just another thing I was thinking. Maybe if that was somewhere that she may have gone. not going to disclose. In my experience at press conferences, they don't disclose nearly as much as people think they will. This is the same thing I told Stephanie earlier. It's just kind of the nature of our job. It's the nature of the resources we use. We can't reveal some of our methods just because that can be used later by bad people, right?
Yeah.
To exploit that. So, I don't know what they're going to release. I'm not the one doing it. They may ask specific questions that warrant different responses. Information that maybe I don't know. But yeah, no, I'll be there too. So I think it's funny, everyone thinks that we all know kind of the collective information, but sometimes we go to these press conferences and we learn, stuff like, I don't know, told me that.
Yeah.
Stephan got a job up in Northport, right?
So his dad works for a real estate company, and I guess had been told that they were going to offer Stephan a job as a project manager or like a junior project manager on a construction site. Like they were going to teach him the ropes, kind of thing, like an apprenticeship, and that fell through. So it ended up never happening.
Oh, no. That stinks.
Yeah.
So is he he lives down there, right?
Yeah, he lives down there.
What does he do down there now? Is he...
He's just hanging out with his parents.
Okay.
I think he's looking for a job locally, but in reality, we're just waiting for him to be able... He's got to wait a specific amount of time for him to reapply back at Disney where he used to work.
Oh, he used to work at, I think he said Epcot?
Yes. Yeah, so he wanted to go back. He wants to go back. But I think we have to wait like about 6 months from when he resigned.
Okay.
So we're waiting for that to kick in so he can get his job back. And in the meantime, he just has to get something down there to be able to save up to come up here because I can't afford to. I'm disabled. I work part-time. I don't make that much money.
Yeah. I didn't know his dad was an Orange County deputy at one point.
Yeah, back
he worked for us way back when.
Yeah, he's a nice guy.
How are his parents doing? Stephan mentioned that they might be. He said something about they were sick a little while ago, or they were ill, or they weren't doing so well at one point. I don't know if I may have misheard.
I don't know if they were not doing well with illness. I know they were struggling financially.
Okay.
So they might not been doing well that way.
I may have misheard. I thought he said something about them being elderly and not as active and needing his help, kind of thing.
That's true. That they're very old. His mom is super old and very ill. She's very, no offense to her, she's a very heavy woman, and her health is just not the best. She's had so many surgeries and had complications from her surgery. She's very mentally, she's not where she used to be. She gets very lost. She gets very confused sometimes, and it's just
I didn't know if he had moved down there to help them, or kind of keep them comfortable, or if they were, he had mentioned them briefly, and so it was cool getting to meet him because he talks very highly of his dad.
Yeah, his dad's a really nice guy. They've always treated me like family, and when I met them, I kind of had a strained relationship with my family, so they took us in. They loved on us. Yeah, they are. They really are.
Sounds like their family is. And forgive me if this is a personal question, but I just wanted to verify with you. I had heard a couple different things, and it's so funny when you talk to so many people over the course of a short period of time. Everyone you see how everyone kind of sees things a little bit differently sometimes. And so that was just one thing I figured I'd clarify with you.
Like, even very childish too. He loves playing video games. He loves playing board games. That is his buddy. That's who his partner is when he loves hobbies also.
Mm-hmm.
Very big hobby goer. So every time he discovers a new game or a new hobby, he gets sucked in and involved and want to play as well. And they were always playing. I would watch. I wasn't into the games. They can.
But you watch, you know, you enjoy them enjoying it, right?
Yeah. Some board games I will play with them. Some of them, you know, it all depends. But they were each other's buddy.
Has it changed at all as the years have gone on? Have they gotten any less close as she's come to be like a teenager?
No. If anything, closer ever since he moved away, because now as soon as we get home or a little bit afterwards, we'll FaceTime him and we'll be on FaceTime all day. All day just talking or bullshitting or keeping each other company. Sometimes not even talking. Sometimes I'll be on my phone messing around and he'll be busy on his computer doing something, but we're just keeping each other company. He would be around for that as well. Not FaceTime, but Google Duo or Meet, whatever it's called.
Oh yeah, for Androids.
Yeah.
Stephan, you know him really well, and you've never seen anything wrong with each other, right?
No. If anything, like, for the first few years, I was hypervigilant as hell, because I was just like, never trust a man. I don't care who it is, never trust anyone, not even my dad, right? Like, never trust anyone. Sleepovers, and I'm like, no, absolutely not, because I have no control and something could really happen.
Yeah, it's a dangerous world.
Yeah, so, I was very vigilant for the first few years of how he would interact with her and what he would do, and I would question if anything was weird, but nothing ever was truly weird. I'm just like, okay. I even had a rule for the longest time, for sleepovers with him, as in, if he were to sleep in the guest bedroom upstairs, and I would say, no, you guys can hang out and do whatever, but you're sleeping with me.
Understandable.
Just because even if I've known him for 7 years, the idea of course it would weird anyone out, a little girl sleeping with a man that's not her dad. It sounds weird, but so I haven't I trusted him enough to let that even happen that night, you know?
Yeah. I mean, is it common? Because I know you said you would never let him in the past, but is it common to let her sleep up with him or let them spend a lot of time alone together?
I think I'm going to say I've let them sleep together less than what I can count on these two hands.
Okay.
Not much. But a lot of the times it was just the three of us sleeping together on my bed too. But that got uncomfortable as hell too. She just kicks and like sprawls and like
only so many people, right?
And what's funny is even on a king bed, if it's just me and her, she'll start off on one corner of the bed and I'll be on the other, and then when I wake up she is on top of me and then like way past the middle, like next to me, touching me, and I'm just like, how did this happen? It's such a big bed. Yeah.
Well, she loves you, that's why.
Yeah. But I would wake up feeling like, oh my god, I'm on the corner.
You know, some kids are like that though. Some kids just can't get close enough to, even when they start developing their like teenage attitude and the hormones start raging a little bit, then some kids kids just can't, get close enough to their parents because they love you that much.
Yeah. I would like to think that that's the case. She never liked being alone.
Mm-hmm.
She never liked sleeping alone.
Mm-hmm.
Ever since she was a baby, like I tried sleep training her, and that was a complete failure.
Yeah.
I just had to learn that she had to sleep with me, and she wanted to be with me all the time. So, like, even now, like, I just hope she's not alone. I mean, or I hope, I don't know, she's being taken care of, or she's safe. I don't know. Like, I worry about her.
Yeah. How was her, I don't think I asked you, or I may have not asked you very much, but how was her party on Sunday?
So I wasn't there, I was working.
Okay.
But from what I was told, she had an amazing time. My entire family was there.
3301.
Oh, is Stephan there?
Stephan wasn't there.
Oh, okay. I thought I heard him mention something about her singing at the party, but maybe I was mistaken.
No, he was on his way here from Northport, Florida, during the party.
Okay. And he so he would have gotten here like Sunday night.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
My at home around 8:30, and I think Stephan walked into the house about 10 minutes later and made sure that I was supposed to, which was take her meds and get in the shower and get ready for bed.
Yeah.
So when I got home from work, she had already showered, she had taken her meds, she was getting ready, she was ready.
I gotcha. Yeah, no, I thought I'd heard him say something about her, like, singing a song that night or introducing her to a new movie or something.
Yes, she started singing. So she's in chorus. She's got such a beautiful voice. She was singing, practicing one of her chorus songs, and Stephan heard, and he's like, "Wow, you have such a beautiful voice. Let's watch, I think, Sister Act."
Sister Act, yeah.
So we wanted to watch a movie about singing, and she liked it. But we didn't finish the whole thing.
I have not seen Sister Act.
Turning us to close.
When he mentioned it, I confused it with I was thinking of that other movie, Friday.
723.
Completely different, I know.
Yeah.
County 3305 up.
3305 Alpha.
You can tell me call 940, please.
Petty theft and a threat, 7640 West Sand Lake Road at the Publix. Wait me on this 36
So I don't think I asked you, or I might have
red
just
hat.
forgotten, but what's
He was
your
wearing all
job?
black and then signaled here. He took a sandwich and a drink.
I work
No one the
as
complainant confronted him. He made a threat to kill her.
At
He's UAX for life and headed towards I-4. You're
Ah,
coming in
okay.
with
Oh,
a
so
manager
you're a
of
Disney family?
26, code 213.
Love Disney. All of us do.
Man. And what did Stephan do at Epcot?
He worked in attractions, so he worked on the Soarin' ride and the Journey into Imagination with Figment ride.
We'll use our police privilege.
Yes.
That's cool. My girlfriend worked for Disney for a long time. She was a character performer. The ones in the costumes.
Yeah.
She said apparently that's like a big deal there.
Yeah, it is. It's crazy how you can just be in a costume, but you can make so many people so happy. My sister used to be a character performer as well. She was like Mickey, Minnie, Donald, Daisy, all the Lilo Stitch, the short.
Yeah, short ones.
Yeah. But I think she said she had to quit because she kept getting Donald Duck and his butt was really heavy and kept hurting her back. She was really having a lot of back pain, so she had to quit.
Now that you say it, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah.
I didn't know they were so stringent with who they let be character performers, though. She was saying, like, you have to fit a height requirement, a weight requirement, you have to learn choreographies and all these mannerisms.
Yeah, North Bay 1.
Learn all the different signatures for every character.
To be a prince, you have to be like 6 foot something, because you have to be taller than all the princesses. crazy. Tuesday, February 27, 13:11 hours, Detective Hunt for OCSO case 24-011-313. Can you state your full name? And what's your relationship? And so, do you recall the last time you spoke?
That was Sunday. I celebrate her. Yes.
And is that the last time you saw her
That's
too?
the last time I saw her.
Got it. And so I won't keep you too long, but it's my understanding that it's not uncommon from school to here sometimes.
She did it like a few times.
Okay.
Yeah.
And is that normally like when she's waiting for pick her up or?
Yeah. Sometimes to the office and pick her up.
Mhm.
She walks from school to here.
Okay.
She did it like maybe, I don't know, 5-6 times.
Okay. So just a few times she's done
Just a
that.
few times.
So that's why Jennifer would have come here yesterday to see if she had maybe
Yes, maybe she
come
walked
here.
here. Yeah.
Okay. Do you remember what Jennifer told you yesterday?
No, she's like, I'm waiting here at school, but she doesn't come out. She's not. I don't think she's here. Maybe she walked to school to the office, and I was like, okay, I'll wait here.
Mhm.
It was 4:30, 4:35, 4:40, and she never showed up.
Okay.
So, and we went together to school, but the office were closed.
Mhm.
It was only the after program they were open.
Mhm.
So we went to verify to the school
Mhm.
and the program. She didn't. While we went to the school, Jennifer called 2 friends that she has,
Mhm.
and they told her that she never made it to school.
Got it.
That's when we find out everything. That She
Okay.
wasn't in school.
Did she tell you who took her to school yesterday?
You know, Stephan. Yes.
Okay.
Came here to, I don't even know. I guess for
Gotcha. Okay. So does he live there with them still, or
no.
no? Gotcha. He just came. Does he?
I guess he just came to visit.
Got it.
Yeah.
When did?
I'm not sure, but I know he moved back in December to Punta Gorda.
Mhm.
He moved out of the house.
Okay. And it, as far as you know, it's because they.
As far as I know, I don't know.
Got it. Okay. Well, I guess that makes sense. But he came back this weekend, maybe
came
for
back
her.
just- I
For
guess-
it. I guess is it common of Stephan?
I guess sometimes he did.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Got it. And did he say where he dropped her off at all?
He said he dropped her off in the corner of Urbana. There is a building there. It's called Urbana.
Bana?
Urbana.
Urbana.
Urbana. It's town loop, and I don't even know the name of the street.
Okay. By
I
Urbana.
was right in the corner.
Got it. So he dropped her off there, and then did he say what happened after?
He said that he just walked, like going to school,
Mhm.
and then she stopped for a few seconds. I guess she was looking for her phone,
Yeah.
and then he just kept going.
Okay. Run away before, or ever wanted to go somewhere else or hang out with her friends without permission or anything?
Not that I know.
Okay. Is there anywhere you know of that she likes to hang out or go to clear her head if she's ever upset, or a place that she likes to go?
One day she was upset. I guess she had a fight, and she called me crying.
Mhm.
And I was like, I'm walking around the neighborhood. I was like, why are you doing that? She's like, I don't want to be in my house right now because I am mad. I was like, you know what? Go back to the house. Don't walk alone in the street. And she said, okay. So she went back. That's the only thing I knew it happens. That was, I think, like a year ago. That happened like a year ago.
Okay.
And then after that, I don't know.
Got it. Okay. Do you have any concerns with... I just ask this because I have to. Do you have any concerns about either Jennifer or Stephan with... Ever raised alarm with you that you can remember?
I never liked him. don't ask me why, because I don't even know myself. It's because I guess he doesn't work, he doesn't do anything. I mean, he just there because he suffers from a lot of things.
Okay.
And I mean, he doesn't do anything, he doesn't work, he doesn't help you. Something that, you know, it's not my life, but I just ask her, you know. That
Okay.
was her answer.
Got it. So typically, does she text you or anything from the phone?
No,
Not much?
not much.
Do you remember the last time you spoke with her before Sunday?
Well, I spoke to her Friday, because she slept over at my house.
Okay.
And then Saturday, I came here to work. And after here, I was going to the party.
Gotcha.
And I told my husband to was going to take her. And she started crying. She said no, she doesn't want to go. So she didn't go at all. So my ex-husband went to pick her up.
Okay.
And, you know, they spend the day together.
Do you
Saturday.
ever pick her up from school, or does your ex-husband ever pick her up from school?
Yeah. I don't know about my ex-husband, but when I have to, I'll go and pick her up. If not, Leticia.
And when you pick her up, where do you pick her up
Just
from?
from the school.
From the school.
Yeah, from
Have you ever picked her up from like anywhere else far from the school?
Church. Like
Church.
Of course, yeah, like from the church.
Is that somewhere that she hangs out, or other kids hang out, or?
No. There's a lot of kids there at that time.
Oh, they kind of go there?
Yeah, a lot of kids go there. Their parents will pick them up from the church.
Got it. Okay, got it. Okay, what's a good phone number for you? Have your ID so I can get your name down?
I have it in my.
Oh, that's fine. How do you spell your name?
YOLANDA.
And your last name?
Zambrano. Z as in zebra. AMBRANO.
And what's your birthday?
9/29/67.
And you do have a Florida ID. I can
Yes.
look up with that. Okay, cool. Gotcha. Okay. Well, is there anything else important that you think I should know?
Yeah, my brother-in-law. He woke up this morning. He went to look at the trail, and he was walking, and he passed by 417 under, and he found the wallet. I have it.
When
here.
you say the trail, what trail?
It's like in the back of the school. There is a trail.
Oh, there's a trail behind the school.
Behind the school. Yeah.
Okay, and you found a wallet. Yeah, I'll take a look at it.
And
I'll
if
take
you want to come in and
Yeah.
take a look what he found, and he just gave it to me, and I
1319.
found 20.
Today is Wednesday, February 18th. Time is 18:38 hours. Case number 24-011313. And we are here with Alex. How do you say your last name, Alex?
Pro-size motor.
Okay. You were working on Monday, the 26th? Okay. Do you remember a resident coming through in a silver Lincoln sedan?
I do remember, but not his face. I talked to him. He showed me his little clicker, and he's like, "Hey man, I'm clicking, it's not working." And then I went and I clicked the button. He went inside, and I just remember there was a woman like sleeping beside him with a green shirt.
A green shirt? Okay. Do you remember what time that was around?
In the morning.
In the morning? Okay. What time do you get to work? What time does your shift start?
6 to 2.
6 to 2? Okay. If you had to give a ballpark of what time it was?
Not really.
Okay. Have you seen him before?
No.
No? What about her?
No, because I don't remember his face, so...
Okay. But so he pulled up, because I know you have a resident lane and then like the guest lane?
Yeah, he was like...
So he was in the, which lane?
The resident lane.
Okay. And he had a clicker with him?
Yeah.
And he's like, hey, it's not
Yeah.
working? Okay. Did you get a good look at the girl at all?
No.
No. Could you tell like age or gender, race, anything like that? No? Okay. But you said she was wearing something green?
Yeah, and she was like apparently sleeping, like kind of like this.
Okay.
That's...
Did she say anything?
No.
No? Okay. And he didn't say anything else?
No.
Did he seem to be acting normal, or did he seem nervous at all?
No, normal.
Normal?
Yeah, I didn't notice, like, I was even with a car here on the cone, and I went there, but he was normal. He's just like, hey, my clicker's not working. I'm like, oh.
Okay. Did you see the car again that day?
No.
No.
When you walked up to the car, did you walk up to the driver's side of the car or the passenger side of the car?
The driver.
So which direction was her face?
Like to the other.
So
side.
she was facing like the
like
passenger
yeah.
passenger window, so her head was turned away from you.
Like this.
Could you see her hair? Did she have any like blanket or anything on her?
I saw her. No, she didn't have blanket. She had just like her hair, like this.
Okay. So covering like maybe half of her face?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I couldn't see her face. It was just like turning with the hair like this.
Did you see her move at all?
No.
Okay. So she was just still.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Good interview at 18:41 hours.
Never know who you're talking to, obviously. Yeah.
Right, but that's like the Roblox stuff. That seems to be the generation thing.
Okay. Is this her family?
No.
Different people?
I think so. Yeah, we have a whole bunch of people that stay. I don't think she was expecting anybody.
Cool. All right. Well, thank you for that. I appreciate it. If there's anything else important you think it could help me find her?
So I mean, it's just weird, you know, like, he typically doesn't drop her off. It's just like a whole bunch of coincidences. So I don't know.
Okay.
It's just weird. But I don't know.
All right. Well, thank you for that. I appreciate it.
Current date time is February 27, 2024 at 9:56 a.m. My name is Corporal Richards. I'm Orange County Homicide. We're at 2600 Lake Betty Boulevard in Apopka, and I'm here with Ryan Loffersweiler. Ryan, you gave me a USB drive with surveillance video from the complex, right?
Yes.
And to the best of your knowledge, that video hasn't been altered or enhanced or anything in any way, correct?
Correct.
And it's a true and accurate representation of the actual events captured?
Absolutely.
Okay. Do you maintain it, or is it a third party?
Yes, we maintain it. Yes.
You maintain it?
Yes.
So the company installed these cameras and you guys have sole access to them, I'm assuming?
Correct.
Okay,
Yep.
great. All right, can you raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm everything you told me is true?
100%. Yes, I swear that it is all true.
Thank you, Ryan.